right, guys, what's going on? It's SJG HBCU Conversations, and we have a very special guest for you guys today. He needs no introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyway. His name is Antoine Bethea. He is a Howard University alumnus. He is an NFL veteran of, what is it now, 13, 14 years?
Going on 15.
15 years. And he is also Pro Bowler, Super Bowl. He's done All Pro. He's done all of those things. But he's also doing a lot bigger things in the community. And he's also helping out in a new movement to bring more awareness and to bring more high-profile recruits to consider HBCUs. So obviously, he's obviously doing a lot in the community. So we're going to start with that. He's in Arizona right now, but he was just in Virginia for a special trip. And so we'll start off talking about that. Mr. Bethea, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely appreciate you for coming on and giving us of your time. I know you were just in your native Virginia, doing some good in the hood, as we like to say. Tell the folks about the new basketball court you guys have just put up there.
Yeah, man. So we broke ground on a new basketball court in Newport News. Obviously it's it's a donation for myself and my the Bethea Family Foundation, man. And it was just one of them things that I just want to give back to the community. And like I always tell people growing up, basketball was my first love. So, me and my guys, man, that's all we did. We rolled around the city, found the basketball court, so we played, sun up to sundown. Unfortunately now, you really don't have that nowadays. The basketball courts are ran down. You really don't see a lot of kids out in the community playing around, getting that cardio and getting that exercise. So hopefully, being able to come into the city, join, partner with the city, and create something like this, man. Hopefully, it'll try to shift it back to how it used to be, and hopefully this is just the first of many. The plan is to go around the city of Newport News and refurbish basketball courts throughout the city, man. So definitely excited to be able to partner with the city of Newport News and make some things happen.
That's what's up. Definitely. Yeah. The kids, a lot of them are definitely hitting those inside courts as much as they can. So we definitely got to get them outside a little bit. They got that AC. So it's a little bit of a new generation, but the great work that you guys did there with that. And let's stay in the 757 because it is a very talent-rich area. You're from Newport News, same city that produced Allen Iverson, Michael Vick, Antoine Bethea. So much talent has come from there. So many athletes, basketball and football. But talk about some of the athletes that what it was like growing up in the 757 in an atmosphere where you got so many talented basketball and football and football players.
I went to DB High School, and it was competitive, man. It was competitive. It was, like you said, obviously growing up, watching AI, watching Mike Vick, man, just seeing those guys just come in and just put our area on the map, and not even only Newport News, Hampton, but then you can go to Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, where you had Dre Bly, you had D'Angelo Hall, Daryl Tapp, Cam Chancellor, Percy Harvin, you got Tyrod Taylor. So you have a lot of guys, and got the Upton brothers in baseball. So we have a lot of guys that around there, man. That's what we like to do. We like to play sports, football, basketball, baseball, entertainment. So it's just a lot of talent, man. A lot of talent, a lot of competition, man, and guys, we thrive off of that.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you talk about that too. What was your introduction to HBCU football? Obviously, Norfolk State and Hampton are right there as well as the CIAA schools a little bit up north. What was your first exposure to HBCU football and ultimately, and then lead us into how you ended up at Howard?
Yeah, so, my older brother, he went to Delaware State for his first 2 years of school. And then again, like you just mentioned, in our area, you have Hampton University, you have Norfolk State, you have Virginia State, Virginia Union. So Virginia, we're rich with HBCU. So obviously with the Battle of the Bay classes that we used to have as a young boy, we would go to these games, and it was just a rich atmosphere. The crowd was very energetic, band, cheerleaders, you know what I'm saying, and just being able to go to to a stadium to see a bunch of Black people, you know what I'm saying, and enjoying the atmosphere. So again, you know, knowing the history of HBCUs, and just my story as far as how I got to Howard, it was an interesting story. Obviously, in high school, I played middle linebacker. So, you know, scouts coming into Denby High School, I was 5'10", 165, 170 pounds. Not too many schools are really looking to recruit 75 pound middle linebacker, you know. So I really rather I wasn't heavily recruited by any of the PWIs or the big schools. I was recruited by Coach Petty. He was at Norfolk State at the time. He would come to my football games. He would come to my basketball games, and it just kind of worked out for me. He ended up getting a head coaching job at Howard University. He had a coaching stint at Howard University once before, and while he was there, my head football coach at Denby High School, AC Cawthorn, was also on that Howard staff as well. So Coach Petty came back. He hired AC Cawthorn as the offensive coordinator. He asked would I like to attend Howard. I went to Howard on a visit. I loved it. One of the best weekends of my life, and again, you know, they offered me some money. They didn't offer me a full ride. I would say it was a little bit below a partial scholarship. But he said, you know, you come in your first year, you do what you're supposed to do in the classroom, on the field. You know, we should have some scholarships that open up your sophomore year. And if you do what you need to do, we can offer you that full ride. So again, you know, it was one of those things. Even at that time, HBCUs wasn't the way to go, really. You know, like I said, like in 2002, you know, guys were going to UVA, VTech around my way. You know, there was the big time recruits were going in. So obviously, at that time, it was kind of that narrative. You know, go to the big school, get on TV. You know what I'm saying, so people can see you. But again, for me, making that decision to go to the HBCU, I feel that was the best decision. Personally for me, and as far as on the field.
Here's the option. Boy keeps it. Maybe a yard or two. And that's about it. Antoine Bethea coming up from the safety position to make the start. Bethea Sr. He's out of Denby High down in Newport News, Virginia. Came into the season as one of the candidates for the Buchanan Award as the Defensive Player of the Year in 1AA. And as the season's progressed, he hasn't done anything to hurt his chances. He's still on the watch list for that award. 3-year All-American, as we mentioned in the open. He's just a solid football player. Doesn't make any mistakes.
What was the first couple of weeks for school like for you?
Now, it wasn't really a culture shock. You know, obviously being the first time away from school and, you know, being an athlete, you know, when we get up on campus, man, we was really just an athlete. So it's really just going in there and you about your business. You know, with summer camp, and you just, you know, at that time we had the 2-a-days for real. So that's what it was for us, you know, 2-a-days, getting ready for classes. So it definitely was a culture shock for me, though. As far as, you know, growing around the 757, I think it's with military families, you kind of see everything. You got the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? But being at Howard, man, like you said, in DC, at that time, you know, all you heard about was Chocolate City. I was excited to be there, man. I was excited to be there.
Then, right?
Yeah, still chocolate then.
Okay.
It was still chocolate. So I was definitely excited to be there, man. Seeing the young man, come in, just as excited as I was, coming from different parts of the world. And it was love, man. It was love from the first moment I set foot on Howard campus.
What was it like? Back then? Obviously, you grew up going to the Battle of the Bay, and then you got exposed to the Battle of the real HU. I got to ask, when you were a kid, were you cheering for Hampton or Norfolk State, or did you have one that you were cheering for, or you were just at the game?
Nah, I was just at the game having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, like I said, they both by the house, they both by the crib, so I was just, you know, there just enjoying the game.
Right. So how long did it take you to grow into hating Hampton University?
No, it didn't take long. it didn't take long at all. But you know, it's one of them healthy healthy dislikes. You know what I'm saying? So as we always joke about, like if you went to a HBCU, you can always talk about a other HBCU or whatever the case may be. But if you outside that box, outside that family, man, you can't do that. So it's a healthy dislike. At the end of the day, we still want all our HBCUs to thrive and do well.
No doubt, no doubt. And then, as you go through your career at Howard, what were some of the highlights? Some of your favorite wins, or some of the, one thing that stands out to you, a couple of things that stand out to you from your college career and college experience that you got at Howard that you feel like maybe you couldn't have gotten anywhere else.
I would say, like you say, I think like all football teams has rivals. I just think that Hampton and Howard rivalry, man, that's one of the highlights of my career. Our homecomings each year, another highlight of the career. I would say, as far as me, I would say my sophomore year we played Texas Southern down in Texas, and that was kind of my first time really getting major playing time. My guy BJ Johnson, he played strong safety in front of me. He hurt his hamstring at the end of the first half. I went in after halftime and I had a great second half, and that was kind of my introduction to Howard football. That next week we played Hampton at Howard, and I had a great game as well. So those two games, man, it's kind of one of those things in my sophomore year. It's like was my introduction to Howard football.
Got you. And by the time you got to be a senior, I remember I was just coming into Winston-Salem State, and we were just coming into competing in the MEAC, I think, is just in your senior year. And I do remember reading about you in the magazines. I was like, okay, this guy has a chance to go to the league. And so, you complete your career over there at Howard, and so your career there is over. And talk about the process of getting to the pros. You got drafted by the Colts, who especially at that time, but even up till today, continue to pick up a lot of HBCU guys. So just talk about how you ended up on the radar of Tony Dungy and those guys.
Man, it was a tough process, man. Obviously, like I said, coming from an HBCU, you have scouts that come in the building. They have, I guess, two ways of viewing HBCU football or even small school football. It was a lot of knock as far as competition level. And to me, it just seemed like we was getting critiqued harder just because of where we were playing at. And, I'll fast forward and I'll come back. My first mini camp when I was with the coach, I'm in camp and I'm looking at these guys. Obviously, I'm sizing everybody up. I'm coming from a small school. You got these guys coming from Ohio State, Florida State, whatever the case may be. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, man, like it's 3 or 4 guys that I know at Howard University right now that could come in this camp and outperform these guys. But it was just they got the not saying they weren't good, but I just knew guys that were better that just probably didn't get that nod because they didn't jump off the screen at Howard University. And I'm pretty sure these guys at these big schools didn't jump off neither. Right. But having that Ohio State beside their name, having that Penn State beside their name kind of gave them that nod. But again, to go back, man, it was a tough process. Again, like I said, the scouts coming into the building, telling you what you can't do. You're slow, you're small, your competition level, whatever the case may be. But then again, you did have some scouts that came in and said, look, even if you're not drafted, I think you will get a shot to play in the league. So, for me, it was like, put your best foot forward, man. Do what I got to do, control what I can control. And that's what I did. I was fortunate enough to hear my name called the second day. At that time, it was a 2-day process of the draft. Round 6, 207 pick by the Colts, man. And then that's all I needed. And that's all I wanted was just a shot, just an opportunity. And then everything else, man, I just told myself I'll take care of that.
And the rest was history. Obviously, you guys were going to win the championship a couple years later, and the Super Bowl team that you had a guy that you played with by the name of Robert Mathis, who's also another HBCU grad, Alabama A&M. I know a couple years later you guys had Greg Toller. Is there a sense of camaraderie around the HBCU guys? Maybe sometimes in the league or in the locker rooms, or at least acknowledging that shared experience, even though you played in the MEAC and Mathis played in the SWAC or whatever, or if there's a guy Toller played in the CIAA, or there's an SIC guy. Is there any type of synergy between the guys from HBCUs having that shared experience and getting where you are from a small school and an HBCU?
It definitely is, man, because it's not many of us for one. And then we all kind of know what we had to go through to get to that point. So definitely in our locker room and around the league, it's one of those things that, after the game, I know for me, what I used to do, I used to look down on the roster of the team that we was playing to see if any guys went to HBCU. Either before the game or after the game, we'll go up to them and show them love if I didn't know them. So it was just one of those things, man. And again, like I said, just knowing that it's not many of us in the league, we do have that camaraderie with one another.
No doubt. And, again, from a 6th-round pick, Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, all of those things, what do you still, even as you begin to get these accomplishments, did you still kind of feel like that middle linebacker that a lot of people overlooked? And then having that chip on your shoulder from being a 6th-round pick, did you think that chip on your shoulder, maybe, did you have that? And do you feel like that helped? If you did that help you carry you to where you've gotten in your career?
I just think I always had a chip on my shoulder. Definitely entering the league, I did. It definitely helped me. It definitely helped me, push me to work harder, to prove the naysayers wrong. And still to this day, I still have that chip on my shoulder. So I would be naive to say that wasn't one of the things that kind of pushed me and helped elevate my game.
Right. And now you and I are both a part of this organization and that's just started up. It's called HBCU Jump, where it is, pushing top flight talent. We've always been able to find under the radar talent like yourself at HBCUs, and sometimes the top flight talent gets there secondhand, through the transfer portal and things like that. But what made you want to get involved with HBCU Jump and promote HBCU athletics?
Man, it was funny story, man. I had myself and Tyler, man. I guess a mutual friend, and she hit me on Twitter and was like, "Look, man, I have a partner, man. He's doing this initiative for HBCUs," and I reached out to Tyler on Twitter, asked what was going on, and from the jump, man, I was like, "Man, I'm in." So again, you asked a question, why? Because I understand the platform that I have, the platform that I can use to help get the word and get the narrative out. That you don't have to go to a PWI to get seen or go to the next level. You can go to a HBCU, you can thrive, you can compete at the level, and you can still have a future if that's what you choose to do, to go to the NBA, go to the NFL, or whatever the case may be. Not just those two sports, but women's basketball, golf, swimming, whatever the case may be. But again, just getting the HBCUs out there, just knowing that if you go there, you'll get a experience of a lifetime, you'll get a great education, and you can still do great things on the field or on the court.
Well, I mean, you talk about making the HBCU jump, and a major leap was made on July 3rd. Makur Maker, one of the top 20 prospects in the 2020 class, a 5-star recruit and a 7-footer at that, decided that he was going to take his talents to Howard University. When you woke up in the morning, or it was West Coast time, so maybe you were still awake, it was still kind of late, and saw that news that not only was he going to an HBCU, but he was going to your HBCU, some would say the real HU. What was that? What was your reaction, and what's that been like just to see that?
Man, I was excited, man, as an alum, and then just an athlete that attended HBCU. Excuse me, just to see one of the top recruits finally, as we say, made that jump. I was excited, man, and then just to hear him speak on his decision, why he did that. Obviously, you can tell he did his research. He did his due diligence. So definitely was excited.
Definitely. And, you talk about, the impact of going to HBCU and leaving your legacy there. I know, every time I go to Howard and I would look up on the wall and you see yourself, you get to see a big, huge, larger than life photo of yourself imprinted on the building there. What is that like to you? What does it mean to you to be a part of a legacy of a school that, has done so much over the past 150 plus years now, to have been able to carve your name, not only in the athletic history of that, but in the history of that institution? Let's talk about that part of it.
Man, it speaks volume. Like you said, just when you talk about Howard University, man, you think of so many names. So just for my name could just be sketching to a little bit of Howard University history, it means a lot to me. So very important. Got
you. And as we wrap things up here, again, we're going into another football season. I know right now you're a free agent, correct? Free agent. And you're kind of already preparing for life after football. I know you've written a book. Why don't you tell us about the book a little bit? That's not why you came on, but I want to make sure we plug that. You know what I mean? Make sure to get the word out.
Nah, I appreciate that. The book is called Better Yourself Inside the Mind of the Ultimate Underdog. And basically just talks about myself, how I look at myself in the field as an underdog, and how I had to better myself to get to the point where I'm at. But at the end of the day, what it is that hopefully that the reader reads this book and they can come away from this and say, look, this guy, he bettered on himself. He was able to play this long in the NFL. So if I can kind of take some of these pointers that I put in the book and they can kind of relate that to whatever field that they're in, whatever business that they're in, hopefully it can elevate them as well. So definitely want people to look at it as some type of motivation for them as well.
Got you. And I thought about asking you this question earlier, but who were some of the people at Howard University specifically who have made an impact on your life to where 14, 15 years later, you still remember the words that they said or remember the things that they did, some of the things that you only get at an HBCU?
I would say Dr. Carr. He was a professor. He taught African American studies, man. Like one of my favorite classes that I took while I was at Howard. I would have to say my coach, Ron Bolton. He went to HBCU as well. He played 14 years in the league as well. So having contact with him every day throughout my 4 years and just talk about football, talk about life, talk about HBCU life, very impactful to me as well. So I would say those two guys are very instrumental just in as far as like my growth and just my experience at Howard University.
Got you. And so whenever you're ready to hang up the cleats, what is next for you after what is your life after football look like for you? Do you feel like obviously you're already involved in the philanthropy, you're already done an author, so you've already laid the groundwork, but what are some of your goals and things that you're looking that we can look forward to from you when your days on the field are over with?
Man, I can't. You just dove into it. Really jump into the community, man. The philanthropy work. Looking to write another book. I have a sports bar in Newport News as well. So, just hopefully we can build on just the businesses and just ultimate entrepreneur, man. But really, man, just really want to give back to the community, man. Have my face in the community, put my hands on the community as well. So, got some things lined up. So, I'm if that time is near, man, I'm ready for it, and I'm excited for the next chapter.
Okay, you got a bar, so we know where to go to have the next HBCU game day meet up at when we're in the 757. We got to work that out. Well, look, I appreciate you so much for coming on, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Antoine Bethea, a proud graduate of Howard University, NFL veteran, Super Bowl champion, defensive back, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, all of that, and MEAC Hall of Famer, Howard Hall of Famer. If not yet, he should be. You're probably in the Hall of Fame there already, I'm guessing. And we're gonna push for that NFL Hall of Fame, because he's been putting in work for a long time, but he's still got some more to put in. So we appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to holler at us at game day, we'll be looking forward to chatting with you.
All right, man. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
All right. And everybody is watching this. Make sure you guys continue to interact with the content, see what you think about the interview, and hit subscribe at the bottom.